game called Tone Stones. This is an abstract strategy game for 2 players. Players are going to be activating these 4 orange stones and using them to generate tones to bounce off different surfaces and flip over these black and white tiles. Each time a player creates one of the patterns on their respective side of any of these goal cards, they get to collect that card and boost their stats in one of the 3 categories. There's speed, which determines how many spaces you can move a stone when you activate it. Range is how far you can launch your tone before it bounces. And then echo is how far back it will bounce after it hits the surface. So for example, if black activates this stone, they place their marker on it, showing that it's being activated. They may move it up to 1 space. They might move it right over here. And then they can launch their tone any of the 8 directions around them, but it will only have an effect if it bounces off something. So for this example, it's going to launch its tone this direction because there is a wall right here. So it goes 1, hits the wall, and then it bounces back and flips over this tile right here. And that was black's turn. Then we'd look to see if any of these cards have a pattern that match something that black just made. That is not the case right now. So now it's white's turn. White can now activate any of the stones that does not have a marker on it at the moment. So they can activate any one of these 3 and perform their turn in a similar manner. Right now, the white player is trying to accomplish any one of these sides of the cards, whereas the black player is trying to accomplish any one of these sides of the cards. Each side is an inverse of the other, so players are flipping the tiles back and forth to try and match any one of the 4 that are available to them at any given time. The orientation for these patterns has to be correct, so you cannot rotate the pattern to fit something that is showing. If a player activates a stone, moves it, and then launches their tone in a diagonal direction, it will only have an effect if it hits another stone. If you shoot a tone in a diagonal direction and it hits another stone, so in this case, range 1, it will be able to hit this stone. Each of the tiles on either side of the hit stone will be flipped over. It's then back to the black player, and the black player may choose to activate any one of these 2 stones, because these are the only 2 stones that don't have a marker on them. And they will take this marker and place it on the stone they're activating. Right now, the black player is going to choose to activate this stone. They decide they do not want to move it because they want to flip over this tile right here. So they'll shoot their tone this way, it will bounce off the wall and flip this tile over. Unfortunately, that didn't make any of the shapes that are necessary for black, so it's back to the white player. The white player will then activate this stone and shoot their tone diagonally this direction, which will hit this stone and flip these 2 tiles over. After doing that, the white player has now completed their side of this goal. They have a straight white line here, black line here, and a white line here. So they get to collect this goal card, a new one will replace it, and they get to bump up any one of their 3 stats. In this case, they're going to bump up their speed. When it's the white player's turn again, their 2 speed will look something like this. First, they will choose one of the 2 stones that is not locked to activate. Then, since their speed is 2, they may now move that stone up to 2 spaces. Now they will launch their tone, strength 1, to flip over this tile, completing another one of their goals, and increasing one of their stats. Now let me show you an example of a turn using upgrade levels of all 3 of the stats. White will activate this stone and go 1, 2. Then white will shoot its tone this direction, going 2 spaces, 1, 2, hitting this stone, and then it will echo back up to 2 spaces. So then white will be able to have echo to here or here. So white is going to have this one flip over. And that's how the 3 different stats work. The game will end once all of the gold cards have been used up, and the player with the most goals wins the game. And that is Stone Tones. Thanks for watching.